Hey guys, this is Tim at Free Reign Performance. This is technically Free Reign Performance's first video, and I guess the reason why I wanted to release this now is because I'm super concerned about athletes who are taking full or broad spectrum hemp oil. I'm not concerned that they're taking it. I think that's wonderful. I think these are amazing substances, and I'm literally looking forward to see what research says as we unfold in the next couple of years. What I'm concerned about is drug testing. And one of the big problems starts with the phrase CBD. So when some people say CBD, they mean the single cannabinoid cannabidiol. And when other people say CBD, they pretty much mean everything that's not THC. So if you went to Google right now and typed in, say, best CBD, many of those sites are going to be listing all these products that are full spectrum hemp oil or broad spectrum hemp oil, which is really different than a CBD isolate. So the problem really starts with WADA's language. When WADA took CBD off its prohibited, in competition prohibited list, a year and a half ago or so, the only thing they removed was the single cannabinoid cannabidiol. And unfortunately, a lot of really well-meaning companies making really great products thought that that meant they took everything except for THC off. So there's all these really great full spectrum products, broad spectrum products with negligible or to zero THC. And there's been a big push to get athletes to use this stuff for a good reason, honestly. That's a whole other video. I love it. I think it's great stuff. But the problem is that WADA only took the isolate CBD off its list. So if you're taking a full spectrum, broad spectrum product and you're subject to a WADA USADA drug test, if they test for anything other than THC, any other cannabinoid besides that one, you'll definitely test positive because you have all these other cannabinoids in your system. There are some strange things, like why does THC have an allowable threshold of 150 nanograms per milliliter, and all these other cannabinoids have no threshold, which basically means they're prohibited in even trace amounts. I mean, there's a lot of things that don't make sense, but this isn't about sense. This is about WADA USADA code, and you know, I don't want athletes getting popped because they think they're doing something that's okay. So I've spoken to a lot of companies about this. Many of them were surprised. Many of them are in denial. They're like, "Oh, it's fine. It's totally fine." But unfortunately, it's not fine. There is kind of a rumor, some inside information that WADA is only testing for THC. If that's true, then to you, WADA, I'm asking, like, why do you just have this as insider information? Like, it creates an unlevel playing field for athletes if some athletes have inside information that they're only testing for THC, which then allows them to take a full broad spectrum product, and other athletes don't know, and they're trying to do the right thing, so they're avoiding it altogether. If you do take these products and you really like them, you know, you can always discontinue use 3 to 7 days before. You'll probably be okay. We don't really know a ton about clearance rates, and certainly would change by individual anyway. You could probably switch to a CBD isolate a week or so before and be okay, because again, CBD it by itself is not prohibited in competition. So that's kind of where we are. It's unfortunate that a lot of companies and athletes have kind of been misinformed. I think the reason why we haven't seen positive tests is maybe people are only getting tested for THC currently. I have a number of emails into USADA. They've been pretty good at responding, but I'm really pushing this idea of, if you're only testing for THC, why are these other things prohibited? And if they're not prohibited, then let's let athletes use them. So there are a lot of issues that need to be worked through. Hopefully the CBD hemp industry can approach WADA themselves. Maybe it'll take the medical community and testing to do that. But the long and short is this: if you're taking a full or broad spectrum product and you're subject to a WADA USADA test, the only cannabinoid that's permitted is CBD. So any other cannabinoid will give you a positive test. And if you happen to have been taking one and you didn't test positive, and you took it, let's say right before or the day of, it's only because that test only looked for THC. But unfortunately, WADA still reserves the right to test for anything else, and you can read it in their own language. I've gone over it all. That's where we are, and hopefully things will change. I would love to see all the other cannabinoids taken off. I think full broad spectrum products are really awesome. But anyways, that's a heads up. I've reached out to a bunch of people to try to disseminate this information to athletes in either magazines outside, other ones I won't mention. Either they don't care, or they're just too busy trying to figure out the next workout you should do to publish, I don't know, whatever. But I hope you guys share this with all the athletes. I know there's lots of athletes out there using this stuff. Again, I love this stuff, but you really have to be careful because of the language in WADA and USADA's guidelines. So that's it for now. I'll update you when I know more.